Shalom, shalom, and welcome. Welcome to From Four Corners. It is a series of messages reflective of Isaiah 11:12. It is a series of messages reflective of the final exodus of true Yahusha. 12,000 from each of the true tribes of Yahusha being gathered from the four corners of the earth, and a great multitude of every nation, people, kindreds, and tongues who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father, brought together as one in Yahusha Mashyach, Yahusha our Messiah. Those who will be among the children of obedience, who are not appointed to the wrath of Elohim, will be gathered together to an appointed place, a safe place during the great tribulation. If you are tuning in for the first time, my name is Symmanayah. If you are one who seek to do the will of the Almighty Father and who have come to accept Yahusha as Mashyach, as our Messiah, then you represent someone who I consider my brother and or my sister. Today is June 18th, 2014. This segment of From Four Corners is entitled, Who Gets to Ride? Yes, who gets to ride? My brothers and sisters, if you are one who believes that there will be a final exodus, then it is time to begin discussions of what is about to unfold regarding this final journey. This segment entitled Who Gets to Ride poses a question that will face us in the foreseeable future. And in order for us to witness the emergence of the 144,000 and multitude being gathered together in our final exodus, there will be times of traveling from one point to the next as the numbers are enlarged. There will be many times in which we will find ourselves moving from one point to the next until we reach a final destination. I have mentioned that as end times become intense, chaos, civil unrest, mass congestion, and other challenges will become visible. I am compelled to believe there will be the chosen leaders of the Most High who have and will begin to provide instructions as the Spirit of Yahusha orders regarding what must be done regarding those who will be among the ranks of the 144,000 and multitude in or martyrs who will die for the sake of Yahusha. I am compelled to believe some have begun their journey to specific areas and will continue until we are brought together in mass, in large numbers, but yet, compared to the world population, it will be a remnant. Whatever means necessary for us to travel, the question will eventually rise, who gets to ride? Let's be real. There are common known means of transportation. It could be a bike, a scooter, a motorcycle, a car, a truck, a bus, a van, a train, an airplane, a boat, etc. But every last one of these vehicles have limitations, have limits as to the amount of people, as to the capacity that they can hold. Even if we found ourselves holding on to a log in order to float down a river, this method has its limits. Who gets to ride? Yes, this question may spark arguments and tempers may fly. There will probably be some mores of teachers and leaders who may accuse me of instigating confusion. Pray and watch, my brothers and sisters. Regardless of any accusations and or false witnesses against me, this is a question that will become all too real during forced movement, forced migration. As end time prophecies get intense, people will be looking for transportation. Transportation to get them to food, to fresh water. Transportation to get them to a safe place. Transportation to move away from sudden destruction that will come in some areas. Just by introducing these questions, individuals will begin to come into the reality. I nor them have enough room for everyone, and that we would desire to see room for many. But even if we desire, the reality is there are capacities. Whether we are proactive or reactive to what is about to unfold, still the question remains, Who gets to ride? My brothers and sisters, allow me to present the following. Matthew 24, chapter, verse 6 and 7. And you shall begin to hear of fightings and reports of fighting. See that you are not troubled, for these have to take place, but the end is not yet. Nation shall rise against nation and reign against reign, and there shall be scarcities of food and deadly diseases and earthquakes in places. Also take a moment and read the 21st chapter of Luke. Who has pondered, prayed, or asked the question of what are people fighting over, or what's causing the fighting in the end times during these last days? Could it be no doubt that people are fighting over food? Could food be one of the major factors along with fresh water? Could it also be people fighting over transportation, trying to get away from deadly disease and earthquakes, as well as other transportation needs? Fighting for transportation. There will no doubt be those who will attempt to take our vehicles. Some will be successful. There will be those who will leave their means of transportation, having it stripped from them by those with guns or weapons or physically strong. But I submit to you, my brothers and sisters, the power and might of the Almighty Father will fulfill all that is necessary regarding those whom He has chosen to participate in the final Exodus, the gathering of the 144,000 and the multitude. Let me read two verses out of Luke 21st chapter. That's 21, 16, and 17. You shall also be betrayed by parents and brothers and relatives and friends, and some of you shall be put to death, and you shall be hated by all because of my name. Who has given thought that our footsteps will be ordered by the Spirit of Yahusha, either directly or through one of us, one towards another, or through his chosen leaders, or through his sent messengers? There will be orders, commands, instructions to follow. Who have considered such? Who can discern the reality of the Most High Father, that He will either harden our hearts or soften our hearts as to who gets to ride with us or who we get to ride with, as we journey from one place to the next, moving in a direction that will come to be known as the final gathering? Yes, this is occurring, and it will happen in the foreseeable future. Who is able to discern that there will come a time in the midst of chaos, civil unrest, violence, and more, where we will see an attempt to be successful in taking another's transportation, but some will fail. Some will succeed. But trust that the Most High Father will provide all protection and all power and strength to fulfill our journey, for us to fulfill our journey. Have the Most High Father placed people in positions who will be able to provide transportation using many different means, such that we are able to move in the direction that He so orders? And of course, there will be times we will walk. Indeed, the Most High is making provisions. He's training, He's refining, He's developing those who will be charged with participating in our journey from a transportation perspective. Believe it or not, there will be hard decisions to make, such as, will you step aside and allow your child or children to ride in your place if necessary? Or as children, will you step aside and allow your parent or parents or guardian or guardians to ride in your place? The reality will prove that we will witness both conditions faced as we begin to face forced migration. Could part of the betrayal we witness against one another be people promising a ride only to leave the person and others behind? Would people deliver us up to the rulers, congregations, and others for the sake of Yahusha Messiah? Will they do this in an attempt to take our means of transportation, along with other wicked reasons? Sure, there are other reasons where people will betray us, but let us be real and not rule out that people will betray us in an effort to take us from whatever mode of transportation we have, whether it's ours or whether we're riding, and they would like to see us stripped from a moving vehicle such that they can put someone in there, or they themselves replace us. Yes, my brothers and sisters, these conditions will prove to be true. As end times become intense, so will the emotional state of those reacting and attempting to determine what must be done, let alone trying to determine where to go. Transportation will be a key component as we are gathered, my brothers and sisters. I strongly believe we will move from point to point, and there will be times when we will witness small groups grow into larger groups before making that final exodus from prospective countries from the four corners of the earth as we journey to that appointed place of safety. I am very much aware that there are those who will dismiss these words and prefer to wait for something to drop out of the heavens and prove these words to be true, something phenomenal and cataclysmic. And I assure you, this will come to be for some. For some, it will be to their own demise. Proof will come, and it will come from above, but not like most people believe. My brothers and sisters, let me be perfectly clear. These words are designed to reach those who will be charged with making decisions as to who gets to ride. If our focus is on doing the will of the Almighty Father Yahuah and following the living guidance of the Spirit of Yahusha, then our primary objective should be to worship and obey, and to trust. Yes, trust Him. Trust that He is indeed making all arrangements for our transport. In other words, this message is important to those being refined to carry out the task of assigning who gets to ride as ordered by the Spirit of Yahusha. For those who decide, those who participate, those who obey the words of the Most High through His set-apart Spirit sent in Yahusha's name, there will be no doubt as to who gets to ride. But remember, my brothers and sisters, the precise and correct orders for those who will successfully reach the destinations prescribed in Scripture will be those who will experience obeying the Spirit of Yahusha. Yes, my brothers and sisters, He will speak through us directly, or one towards another, or through His chosen leaders or sent messengers. Individuals who will be obedient and execute the task determining who gets to ride will face ridicule. It will be a hard position for a person to be in if they are tasked to be the one to choose who gets to ride. Yes, individuals who are used to make such decisions will face ridicule, criticism, skepticism, rejection, and much more from those who are rejected or purged from the ranks. Emotions will be high. They will rise along with tempers and demonstrations of rebellion as the decision becomes real as to who gets to ride versus those who will not experience the journey. In some instances, there will be those who will find transportation from one point to the next, but somewhere along the trip, they will be purged from the gathered. This is not some game, and we will begin to realize it is not about a person having wealth or financial resources trying to buy their way into a vessel or securing their trip with their wealth. This will not be the case, my brothers, among those who are the children of the Most High. There are people who believe they can race the process and are attempting to create a construct or a model of Yahusha coming together. Beware. It is not about those who have wealth taking the lead and creating what they believe will happen. It is about following the living guidance of the Spirit of the Most High. There are others who are being used to prepare for our final exodus, only to later discover that there will be changes in leadership as we gather into larger numbers. While this may all seem fiction or unreal, in due time proof will emerge, my brothers and sisters. If you pause and reflect on it, when structure, order, and discipline and leadership rise, it can only happen correctly by the living power of the Almighty Father working in us one towards another. My brothers and sisters, out of curiosity, I looked at the capacity of some of these cruise ships. And to my amazement, some can hold up to 5,000 or 6,000 people. Just for the sake of possibility, if a third of those gathered represent the 144,000 are to be transported across the ocean on cruise ships, it would take roughly 8 cruise ships to accommodate this group. If we take under consideration individuals who will be among the multitude, who will be gathered along with Yahusha as a body of one, then the numbers could reach 10 to 20 or more cruise ships. It is highly possible that scriptures will be fulfilled using cruise ships to transport those who will be among the final exodus. It is and can be possible and probable that some airplanes may be used as well. In either of these scenarios, capacity is a factor and not everyone will be in attendance. Who gets to ride will come at the leading of the Spirit of Yahusha. Remember whose plan this is. Remember who this plan belongs to. And know it is He, the Almighty Father, the Ancient of Days, the Aleph, the Tah, the beginning and the end. It is He who will make the final decision as to who gets to ride. If you are one who is concerned, know this. Comfort comes in knowing and understanding and obeying the orders and commands from the Spirit of Yahusha. If we understand that there will be some of us who will not get to ride, there will be some of us who will be martyrs. There will be some of us who will be left behind to fulfill specific tasks that have been ordered from above. So not everyone will get to ride. If we begin to ponder on this, we just might begin to seek earnestly the face of the Most High to gird ourselves up and prepare to be strong, whether strong to withstand the journey from the four corners of the earth, or whether strong enough to be among martyrs and die for the sake of Yahusha Messiah. Pray and watch. There will be a process of elimination, and I can assure you it will not be by me. It will not be by some lottery, nor will it be by casting votes. The 144,000 in the multitude, I am convinced, have been sealed already and are being refined. Those who will be martyrs for Yahusha Messiah are being refined as well. All resources and leadership necessary for fulfilling end-time prophecies will be made available and become visible. And it will happen with proof from the Almighty One, the Almighty Father. Who gets to ride will be determined by the power and strength of the Most High Father Yahuah, and it will be executed through a set-apart spirit sent in Yahusha's name. The best thing one can do is consider growing in discernment and coming into the knowledge and understanding of what is expected of them from an individual perspective, as well as how to connect with the body of one as a whole. In the words of Shalum or Paul, consider Philippians chapter 4, verse 11 through 13. And it reads as follows: Not that I speak concerning need, for I have learned to be content in whatever state I am. I know what it is to be humbled, and I know what it is to have in excess. In any and every situation I have learned both to be filled and to be hungry, both to have in excess and to be in need. I have strength to do all through Messiah who empowers me. Let us take heed to these words, my brothers and sisters. It is as though I already hear people saying, why bring this matter up if we know it is up to the Most High to determine who gets to ride? I submit to you, we are instruments of the Most High Father, and through the teachings of His set-apart Spirit sent in Yahusha's name, there will be individuals trained, shaped to execute the orders and commands regarding who gets to ride. There will also be brothers and sisters who will be able to discern as to why they may be ordered and commanded to be left behind. For some, they will be left behind only to catch up at a later time, and for others, they will be tasked to stay in place as the Spirit of Yahusha so orders. My brothers and sisters, it would be wise to begin having discussions regarding who gets to ride. Believe it or not, some of us will witness a different side of another person rise up in such discussions. In other words, we will see people's true colors, as one would say, when a discussion such as this becomes all too real. Allow me to ask you, would you prefer to identify those who will betray you ahead of time to avoid the encounter, or would you rather be surprised at a time of drastic need? It would be wise to begin these discussions. It will help expose those who have hidden agendas, hidden intents. Yes, my brothers and sisters, our eyes and ears will be opened. We will begin to see how one responds to the Spirit of Yahusha, even when it comes to the subject, the task of determining who gets to ride. Yes, my brothers and sisters, it's a process. And I ask you, if you had a choice, would you prefer to be in fellowship with individuals who acknowledge the presence of the living Spirit of Yahusha and are led by Him when it comes to making the decision during the process of who gets to ride? Or will you be one who will be among leaders who fail to acknowledge the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha? Will you be among groups, mores, teachers, pastors, prophets, shepherds? Will you be among camps who fail to realize we should be listening to the voice of the Spirit of Yahusha and follow His guidance? Will you be in a camp that disregards His living presence? And if so, who do you think will determine who gets to ride? What process do you think they will use? And would it be a righteous process? I think not. I honestly believe with all my mind, body, and soul, those who try to fabricate the transportation for the final exodus will fail in their attempts. They will face complete and utter destruction in some cases. So be careful as to whose vehicle you step into, or what plane, boat, train, bus, whatever mode of transportation. Be mindful of what you choose to hop into, or who you are allowed to hop into your vehicle. For not all will be led by the Spirit of Yahusha. I cannot stress enough the need to begin discussing these matters, for in some cases the true self of an individual will rise up, and in other cases we will witness the Spirit of Yahusha rise within individuals that will respond with wise answers. Yes, wise and righteous answers regarding who gets to ride. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, remember, tough decisions will emerge as end-time prophecies become intense. Until next time, remember, end times are here, and they bring orders and commands for fulfilling all that is written in Scriptures. Be encouraged, my brothers and sisters. The Most High Father, He knows all. He sees all. He hears all. He knows the intent of the heart, mind, body, and soul. He will fulfill all that is promised. He will bring His word to pass. Be encouraged. Until next time, my brothers and sisters, I invite you to continue to tune in to this series from Four Corners as I continue to present what is pressed on me by He whom I believe is the Spirit of Yahusha. Until next time, I pray that you're able to endure these challenging times ahead. Shalom, shalom, shalom.